Hi guys, welcome to the channel. And today we are back again. And this time we have a special guest. We have somebody from the Footy Report. Please welcome Abdur. Hi Abdur, how have you been doing?
Yeah, hey, I'm doing fine. Shav just asked me to join him today, so yeah, I said yeah, sure, why not? So yeah, how you doing, Shav?
I'm fine. So as the background suggests, it's pretty evident that we're going to preview the Belgium versus Portugal game, which is going to be one of the best games at the round of 16 in this year's Euros. I mean, England versus Germany too is a very good tie, but considering that their managers have been garbage this tournament, so I don't have too much expectations from that game. So let's get straight to the topic, and I would like to just start by talking about Belgium. So just a small injury update. We are aware that Castanye, I mean, how do you pronounce that? That guy is injured with a double fracture in his eye socket. He came off injured, I guess, in the previous
Yeah,
game, and he's not going to play a part in this game. He's out for the entirety of the Euros.
yeah. So yeah, that's obviously tough on Belgium, but I think they can do without him. I think there shouldn't be too big of a change.
Yeah, I mean, considering that they have immense squad depth, they should be able to manage. I mean, he's not a Lukaku or a Kevin De Bruyne type of player. I mean, he does not have that much of an impact on the team. So that's perfectly fine. Also, now talking about Portugal, I mean, there are a few players who are in doubt. Pereira and Nelson Semedo, both of them are not sure of starting this game. Both of them they got injured during the previous game. I mean, Pereira
Yeah,
continued. I mean, he got punched in the face by Hugo Lloris. I mean, that was a pretty clumsy challenge. But
yeah,
to be honest, that was a penalty. But he got to the ball first, so it was a 50-50 call. And
yeah. I think it was perfect from the referee.
yeah, it was totally up to him. And Nelson Semedo, he was substituted after he got injured, so you don't know if he's going to start. Anyways, they're a left. My bad. They're anyways a right back shot, and now they just might as well lose another one. Not in the best of situations.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, they also have Delo to replace Semedo, and that would be his first start for Portugal. So yeah, we can obviously see that come in.
Yeah. So now let's just get to the point. We'll get to the lineups. So discussing the Portugal lineup first. Give me a second. Yeah. Uh, I'm sure you're able to see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, in my opinion, the only change that can happen in this team is at right back, and that too is a forced change. What would be your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so I think it's a pretty good lineup. Obviously, the defense I think is pretty pretty tough with Diaz and Pepe in the back. Obviously, Guerrero making those runs on the left side. I think we'll see Guerrero contributing a lot to that left side. Obviously, in the first game against Hungary, he was in the right position at the right time to score that goal. I think if Del does start, then he'll obviously have to take Semedo. Obviously, Semedo's a very fast guy, so he's obviously able to pass, lots of wingers and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to see. We might have to see that from Delo. We have to see some type of like that skill depth from him. I think the midfield is also like pretty nice midfield. I wouldn't start Bruno Fernandez either. Obviously, he hasn't had the greatest Euro campaign this year. So yeah, obviously, I think Sanchez. I think he's been doing so far so good for Portugal in the last 3 games. So I think he can make a huge impact. In my opinion, he's the most important player for Portugal. Pereira, obviously, it's in doubt whether or not he'll start, as we said, but I still think he's a very important player. And Coutinho, obviously, for Wolves, he's a baller, great, great midfielder. So I think he will. And obviously, Jota, Ronaldo, and Silva up top, counter-attacking brilliance from them. So I hope to see that from them.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, you were very correct when you said that Renato Sanchez is going to be one of the most important players in this game. Considering how influential Kevin De Bruyne is going to be for this Belgium team, I mean, he's played 1.5 games, but he's got 2 wins under his belt. I mean, he's won 2 games for Belgium all on his own. So if you remember all 3 games between Manchester City and Chelsea this season, N'Golo Kante just got hold of Kevin De Bruyne like anything. He was pretty garbage for all 3 of those games. I mean, for
Yeah,
sure, Portugal would have to play a typical Fernando Santos game, and Renato Sanchez should, should catch hold of Kevin De Bruyne. He should not get any space to put in the long ball through to Lukaku, because all Lukaku wants to do is find some space and trap the ball. And I think then that's GG for Portugal, because even though their backline is great on paper, but they haven't been very stable. I mean, at least as we've seen in the past 3 games, they've apart from the Hungary
yeah,
game, I mean, even then they were a bit vulnerable. But during the France and Germany games, it was always looking like the other team is going to score at any point in time.
yeah. Pepe and Diaz, obviously good defenders with their clubs, but not the best obviously with the national team this Euro. So they obviously have to pick up the performance because this is such an important match. It's not a group stage anymore. You're not fighting for points. You're fighting for the next round.
Yeah, correct. So we've already displayed the Portugal lineup, and the Belgium lineup is, I guess, the same from the previous game. I mean, Carrasco does not start for me. Thorgan Hazard has done well enough to edge him out. And as we mentioned earlier, Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku are going to be one of the best, one of the most important players for them. But I have one question for you. Does that mean that this will be the perfect foil for Eden Hazard? Because he's not getting so much of the limelight. Is he going to make the difference?
Obviously, lots of players are different in their club than their country. Griezmann, for example, with Barcelona, he's obviously not the best player. But France, he's a completely different player. I think we can see this from Hazard. Obviously these group stage matches he hasn't started. I don't think he's started any of them, so he's always come on as a sub. But I think he's made some key passes. He made some key plays for Belgium. So I think he could be possibly a difference with De Bruyne supporting Lukaku up top. So I think he could potentially be a big difference for Belgium in this crucial game.
Yes, I mean, yeah, he started the very last game and he had a pretty decent game. He made some excellent passes. Actually, what I was trying to say is that because there is so much hype with respect to Lukaku and De Bruyne, I mean, Portugal can get complacent with Eden Hazard. I mean, you won't realize, but he's just going to make space for himself on the left wing, and you never know. As you said
Yeah,
that players play differently for their clubs and the national team. A very good comparison, a very good example would be Antoine Griezmann. Also, Gareth Bale. He's been pretty decent for Wales. I mean, he was pretty bad for Madrid, but yeah, he did. I think he did enough in Tottenham to gain himself a starting spot in Real's 11 next season. I mean, considering
yeah,
Zidane's out and their ego issues are more or less away now, probably Carlo
yeah,
Ancelotti is going to start. He's been
yeah. I
fine.
think that as well. Yeah, and, I think so. I do think Hazard could prove himself again with the Belgium national team. Obviously, he's received so much criticism from Real Madrid, from the club itself, the fans especially. So I do think Hazard could potentially show what he's capable of. And I hope he does. I'm a Real Madrid fan, so I hope he can bring back his performances from the old days from Chelsea. So I hope he can put it back from Real Madrid. I do think that be a crucial, and I think he can bring himself back up in this game.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we're through with the 11s. And just to talk a bit about the gameplay, both the teams might as well present to us, as well as a few important statistics that are going to go with them. So during the course of the past 3 games, even though Belgium have faced relatively weaker opponents, but they have looked more complete because a lot of their teammates have been, giving decent performances. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne has contributed, Romelu Lukaku has, Thorgan Hazard has, and then there's Boyata as well, who's been a good centre back for them, considering the other ones have been pretty shite.
Yeah, yeah. I think Boyata is going to be crucial in the back. Obviously, I think he's doing better than Vertonghen and Alderweireld, so I think he's going to be key for Belgium in that back. Obviously, as you said, KDB Lukaku. We're probably gonna see them link up once again in this match. But once again that's where Renato Sanchez comes in. He should be on KDB just like Conte was all throughout the season. So yeah, and obviously Lukaku, great player. Thorgan Hazard, once again, great winger, great left wing back. So we'll see him on the wing a lot of the times. So yeah, our lineup showed. So yeah, Thorgan Hazard on that left side, KDB and Lukaku up top. KDB supporting Lukaku. Hazard could show himself once again in this match. And yeah, so that's also Renato Sanchez's job to kind of block out KDB, as I said before. Conte with KDB, he completely knocked him out. All three matches City played for the last three matches City against Chelsea. So yeah, uh, that should also be Renato Sanchez's job to stay on KDB.
Yes, I mean, actually, Lukaku isn't much of a creator himself. So if he does not get the chances himself, he's not one of those who will just create something out of nothing. He's not a Ronaldo type player.
Yeah,
But he'll just get into an excellent position and just get it and just score a goal from anywhere. So if Portugal manage to put a stop to the long balls that the Belgians have been putting across to their striker, I think it's going to be GG for Belgium. I mean, they're going to struggle big time.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, as you said before, yeah, obviously Lukaku's not a creator, but yeah, De Bruyne, obviously, playing in those long balls to Lukaku. That's what they've been doing throughout this Euro competition, and that's once again Ronaldo Sanchez. That's his job. Stay on KDB. Make sure he doesn't support Lukaku with those long balls. And obviously, if Lukaku is all by himself, he's not, as you say, he's not gonna be able to do much. He's not a creator. When he gets a good ball, um, he's not the creative type. So if he gets a good ball from KDB or really from anyone, he can finish it. He's a finisher, not a creator. And De Bruyne is a creator. So yeah, that's where those two kind of link up perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, also another interesting statistic would be that even though we are calling Romelu Lukaku an excellent striker, an excellent finisher, but the Belgium team is taking just 3% of their shots from inside the penalty box. So that seems to be very strange. I mean, considering that they have one of the best strikers across Europe in their team, one of the best creators around in their team, they haven't been able to get the ball into the penalty box. So the centre back pairing of Ruben Diaz and Pepe is going to be crucial to this game. I mean, if they manage to keep the ball out of the 18-yard box as well, I mean, also another fact is that Belgians take 40% of their shots from outside the box. So it's just that they have to ensure that they don't enter the 18-yard box, and that will be good for Portugal.
Yeah. I think you said it all right there. Yeah, Pepe and Diaz need to concentrate on their defense. Obviously, in the penalty box, as you said, only 3% of Belgium shots are in the penalty box. So if they close them down in the penalty box, they're not going to score too many goals. 40%, I think you said, outside the box. That's kind of where the defending mids come in, like Pereira, um, Martinho also coming back to defend. Those players are going to come back to defend, kind of outside the box, kind of staying back. Marking players, challenging players as much as they can. So that's also going to be very crucial. So yeah, Belgium aren't having the best time in the penalty box. They're having more of a party outside the box. So that's where Portugal have to concentrate.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see a goal from outside the box every game. So, I mean, a goal from
Yeah,
outside the box is most probably going to be most probably a wonder strike from somebody like a Kevin De Bruyne. Otherwise, if Pepe and Diaz have a decent game, not a great game, even if they have a decent game, Belgium is going to find it difficult to go past this team. I mean, Portugal, they haven't been to their best, I mean, in the past games, but they're good enough to beat any team on their day. Any of the teams.
yeah, yeah. I think I completely agree with that. Yeah, Portugal have the team on paper. They have the teams. As same thing for Belgium. They both have incredible teams. My problem with Portugal is that they don't know how to completely use their team. Like the defense aren't good, but they're somewhat poor together in the back. I think Bruno Fernandes, he's a completely different player with Portugal and Manchester United. So yeah, that's why I think That's why we both think he'll start on the bench. So yeah, they both have great teams on paper. Portugal really need to wake up and use their team now. They need to use their defense, keep it strong. Ronaldo Sanchez needs to perform now. Now's the time. And, obviously he wants a spot. He wants a spot back on the Bayern Munich team. So he's trying to fight for that. It's looking like he can. it can happen with his performances lately. So yeah, we'll obviously everyone will be obviously the focusing on him a lot if he starts. And yeah, I'm hoping he starts.
Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much defined how the game is going to go. I mean, also just the last fact that I wanted to add is that, in my opinion, Belgium is the one who's going to be the aggressor. They are going to be the ones who are taking the initiative. They're going to be the ones who are going to attack first. And Portugal, I mean, their motive is just to park the bus and counter attack. They have a very fast front three. They don't have a very fast midfield. I mean, all three of their midfielders are pretty slow, but their front three is fast enough to
Yeah,
create something on their own. So yes, I mean, also another
yeah,
fact is also another factor is the right hand side for Portugal, the which is the side where Thorgan Hazard is going to be. So it is going to be a very good matchup between Bernardo Silva and Thorgan Hazard. We know how quick Bernardo Silva is on the counter, and he's a pretty decent dribbler. He can just get past them, and we know how good the Belgian centre backs are. So you never know. I mean,
yeah.
that could be very crucial.
Yeah, definitely. Counter-attacks will be key for Portugal against Belgium. As you said, the midfield isn't too fast, but as you said, also the front three can create things around Ronaldo, Jota, Bernardo Silva. Obviously, they'll be working hard up. When they get the ball, they go right in the front for Ronaldo, his speed, Jota on that left, Bernardo on that right. Obviously Silva, I think he's a great dribbler. So yeah, obviously he'll be working hard on that right side. Jota Ronaldo finishers, they'll be getting into the box if Silva has the ball, he'll be providing. So yeah, I think those three great on the counter. We saw that against Germany in that first goal.
Yeah,
Ronaldo was able to
yeah.
have an easy tap in because of once again a counter. So yeah, I think hopefully we can see that from the front three.
Yeah, and considering that he cleared the ball from his own box, and then he just sprinted across to the other team's box. I mean, that clearly
Yeah,
shows how fast they are on the counter. So, I mean, Belgium have to be wary of that. Their centre backs don't have to go very high because, anyways, they're pretty old. They aren't too fast tracking back, so it's best they just stay there. And
yeah,
yeah, another
yeah. I agree with you. Play hard at the back.
yeah, the last stat that I want to mention is that I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, but the Belgian defense has been winning aerial duels like anything. So I think it is going to be very difficult for somebody like Ronaldo to go ahead and score headers, because though they are old, but they are not that bad. They're pretty decent. That is why they're playing for one of the tournament favorites. So it's most probably going to be
Yeah,
it's most probably going to be one of the feet from which Ronaldo scores. It's going to be very difficult to score a header in my opinion, unless it's a corner or a set piece. I mean, that way it goes.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. The Belgian defenders, they're tall, they're tough, they're physical. They're gonna get physical with Ronaldo. Obviously, he can jump, you know, incredible heights
Yeah,
for any human really. He's incredible in the air. Uh, so yeah, he'll obviously have to watch out for that. That means if the defenders are gonna win aerial duels, nothing as you said, then the sorry the the when the wingers provide balls for Ronaldo, they're gonna have to be excellent balls, right to him,
yeah,
accurate, powerful. They're gonna have to good enough to keep Ronaldo to that.
yeah. So let's just we're at the fag end of the video, and I would really want to ask you, what's going to be your prediction for this game, and could you mention one key battle? I mean, both of us know what the key battle is going to be, but what is going to be your prediction for the game? How do you see this game ending up?
In my honest opinion, obviously it's gonna be such a tough game for both sides. Two such strong teams. Belgium being tournament favorites, Portugal defenders of the title obviously of the title. So I think if if they play though according to how we said, Ronaldo on KDB, Portugal playing a tough back, they will close out Belgium, their players. I think it's gonna go into extra time, 2-1 to Portugal.
Okay, so you're saying
What about you? What are your
it ends
predictions?
it ends 1-1 in the 90 minutes, and then Portugal somehow score one during the extra time.
Yeah, during the extra time, anytime during the extra time.
Okay, I mean, what I think is they'll just get a 2-1 win within the 90 minutes. I mean, see, I predict both the teams to score because even though Belgium hasn't done great, I mean, they didn't have much defensive work to do, but their defensive is pretty shaky. It isn't great. And Portugal's
Yeah.
defense, though on paper it seems to be great, it has been pretty shaky. So I expect both the teams to score, but Portugal to get through to the next round with a 2-1 win.
Yeah, so we both think 2-1. I just think extra time. So yeah, hopefully, two Portugal fans. Hopefully, we'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to be a very easy path for them. I mean, I don't exactly remember the opponents that they're going to get, but I think it's going to be one of I don't recall, but it's going to be one of the tournament favorites. I mean, they might as well have to face France again during the latter stages of the tournament, except the final. Before the final, they might as well face France. So they just have to be at their very best, and Fernando Santos probably has to just get back to the 2016 Portugal. I mean, that's what seems to be the best for this team.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Portugal have to play strong. They have to play tactically. So hopefully we can. They'll be able to pull it off.
Yep. So hopefully you liked what we tried to present to you guys. And thanks a lot to Abdur. I would request you guys to please visit his channel. I mean, he's been doing great there. He's talking about football in general over there, and I put the link in the description. So please do go there and have a look. And have a great day. And let's hope that our team wins. I mean, both of us are rooting for Portugal. So
Yeah, hopefully. I'm always hoping.